Circus that played out yesterday on news channels everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, Joe, I heard you guys talking about heard you talk about this, and I couldn't agree with you more. And then the general sentiments expressed. It's an interesting thing. One of the most inspiring things, I think, if you listen to the great legal minds who are kind of explaining to us what's happening this weekend and what, not just the importance of this, the unprecedented nature of it, but also how it's going to play out, is this constant refrain of Donald Trump is going to have to come to and surrender himself. He's going to be arraigned. He's going to sit in front of a judge today, and he's going to be treated, people say over and over again, just like any other citizen who faced similar charges. That's kind of the standard that we aspire to, that he's no higher or lower than anybody else. The former president still held accountable under the law, and he's going to go through this process and these procedures just like anyone else would. And of course, we all sit there and think, well, not really. I mean, the two things are kind of in tension, right? The nature of a former president going through this for the first time, there's nothing normal about that. And certainly it's Donald Trump. And I think that's the challenge for our business, right? Is constantly trying to walk that tightrope of treating him like any other citizen who would be going through this, while also recognizing the extraordinary nature of the proceedings. And I think we can just ask ourselves, and the distinction that you made earlier, I think, is the right one. You know, this is historic and we have to cover it, but my God,
right?
You know, there's nothing relevant or historic about the trip on the LIE, you know, or on the
right.
In from LaGuardia. The movements are not part of the story. They are. They're just us kind of, when we do this, it's just us kind of filling time in a way that benefits Trump and doesn't exalts him in a way. Like makes him into a king. Well, he's so important.
Do you remember the story that you used to tell?
That's where we've gone too far,
John. I was thinking yesterday the story that you told, you guys wrote about in, I think it was 2016. You told me about where he was at the Iowa State Fair, and you all were talking and interviewing other candidates. Yeah. And then the Trump helicopter buzzed on top and circled around, or maybe it was the plane circled around, and everybody just stopped. And they just looked up. Helicopter, and everybody's eyes stayed fixed. And here you had all of these people that were running, all of these, and he just used that. And I was thinking about that yesterday. And Trump commented afterwards, totally. I never realized it would be this easy. And so when I saw that happening yesterday and saw the press still 7 years later affixed on a logo on a plane and not being able to take their eyes off of it, I thought, well, 7 years later, we've still learned nothing.
Yeah, it's like that moment. Hillary Clinton was actually at the fair that day, and it was like everyone in her entourage, and also there were others who were running for president there and staffs. Everyone was sort of awestruck, and it was just, you heard this utterance where people looked up in the sky and was like, "Oh, it's Trump! It's Trump!" The helicopter just it gave him this different status in the race among his competitors, not just among the media. And you're exactly right. It's like yesterday, it was like he was running the helicopter play again. And it's a thing that the press can easily avoid. A lot of hard calls to make in terms of what to cover and what not to cover over the course of the next 24 hours, 48 hours into the future. That, if you ask yourself at any given moment, am I just falling for the helicopter stunt again? And if the answer to that question is yes, turn away.
So Chuck Rosenberg, let's put the Big Apple Circus, as the New York Post is calling it this morning, to the side and talk about what we're actually going to see around 215 down in Lower Manhattan at 100 Center Street. You have a former president of the United States, a man who wants to be president again, who will be processed as a criminal defendant. What else do you expect to see today, and specifically in terms of the charges against him?
Yeah, well, good questions. So first, in a routine case, what's going to happen today is completely routine. It's just an arraignment. And as court proceedings go, rather uninteresting. You show up on time. The judge comes out on the bench. The charges are unsealed. The judge advises the defendant, in this case, Mr. Trump, of what the charges are. That's probably when we're going to learn it, too. And then it's rather quick. He sets bond. In this case, I'm imagining that Mr. Trump will be released on personal recognizance. And the judge might set some other dates for motions or a status hearing, maybe even a trial date. What happens before and after is up to, I guess, us and how we talk about it and how we cover it. What happens in the courtroom is up to the judge. And it's really important to me that Mr. Trump be treated like anybody else inside the courtroom, that he be given all his rights, that the judge run a dignified courtroom, that the proceedings start on time, and that people respect the power of our courts. That's what I'm looking for. I'm also really interested in seeing the indictment, something I imagine I'll be reading cover to cover when it's finally unsealed.